guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video in my series of taking a look at one clothing brand and talking about their ethics, their range, their pricing, lots of different things to do with one brand. Today's brand is Max, which is a New Zealand brand. This is the first time in this particular series that I'm featuring a New Zealand brand. However, I have talked about Max a lot on my channel in the past. I did a recent come shopping with me video at Max about like a month and a half ago now. I'll link that in the cards if you haven't seen it yet. If you are new to my channel and you do like the content that I make, I would love it if you would subscribe. I upload at least one new video every single week. At the moment, I'm uploading 2 videos a week, so I would love to have you on board. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. So first up, the range of clothing available from Max. Max is a women's wear store, and I think a lot of people see it as quite a corporate store, very much like tailored to workwear. And while a lot of their pieces are suitable for workwear, I think that's where some people are getting the wrong impression of Max. It's definitely not a corporate wear store. I would describe their style and their range as more classic and timeless, and a lot of the time that means pieces that are suitable to wear to work. But as you'll see later in the video when I show you the items that I own from Max, it's not all trousers and blazers. In fact, I don't own any trousers or blazers from Max. Case in point, I'll just give you a little sneak peek now. I have this dress from Max, which is definitely not corporate, although it is beautiful and timeless and something that I do wear to work. Next up, the price point of items at Max is definitely high street. It's not your super affordable, super budget friendly store. We will talk a little bit more about pricing as I go through each of the items that I own. I'll tell you how much they each cost, but I definitely think the price point is there for a reason. The quality of the garments is beautiful, and also because of the ethics that Max stands by, which we're going to get into in a minute. I think that makes it worthwhile paying a little bit extra for items. Max does have a website that I find very easy to use. You can shop by collection if there's a particular collection that they have that you're really interested in seeing the different pieces from, or you can obviously shop by, you know, type of clothing like dress or trousers or whatever. And it's quite clear on the website if something is online only, which means there's no point heading into store to see if you can try it on. Speaking of their website, I haven't actually made any online orders from Max. I tend to like browse the website, kind of get an idea of what they have and what I might be interested in looking at, and then I head into store and try things on and get a feel for how they fit. And all of the purchases that I've made from Max have been in store. Alright, on to the hot topic of ethics. So, what are the morals that Max stands by? So on the Max website it says, "We're on a journey of change to create products that are kinder to the earth, purposely using natural, sustainable, high quality fabrics." And while yes, every brand is going to be putting their best foot forward on their website, I can attest that I have seen Max making changes in terms of fabric choices and sustainability, especially in the last year or so. They have become a lot more transparent. Not that I think they were hiding anything before, but I think they're just being very forthcoming with information so that people that want to shop at Max have the information readily available. So I follow them on Instagram and I'm always seeing posts and Insta stories from them that outline any changes that they're making. Referring back to the website for a minute, there is a button called Social Responsibility. When you click on that, it gives you a lot of information about where their clothing is made, how they source their products, how they make sure that their workers are being treated fairly, especially when a lot of their workers are outside of New Zealand. There's actually a link to a list of all the factories that they work with, and if you click on it, you get an entire PDF with information about each of the factories. So some of the information that is on this PDF is the company that audits the factory, whether or not they have unions, the wages that the employees are being paid, the date of the last audit on the factory, any non-compliances that were found in the audit, and also a follow-up of whether or not those issues were resolved. There is some additional information on there as well. Those are the ones that I feel are the most relevant, but all this information is readily available to anyone that is interested. And of course it's not a perfect score. There are factories on here that don't have unions, for example, but at least Max is being transparent by making this information very easy to access. Also on the Max website is their code of conduct, which includes working conditions, child labour, forced labour, living wages, working hours, discrimination and inhumane treatment, corruption and bribery, unions, environment, traceability of fabric and trims. So anything that you want to know about in terms of their ethics is all right there on the website. So for example, they don't tolerate child labour in any of their factories, All workers must be employed on a voluntary basis. Wages must meet minimum legal requirements of their country. Workers must be provided with at least 1 day off every week. All workers have the right to join trade unions of their choice. And they keep records showing where fabrics are supplied from. That's not everything that it says here, I just picked a few key things. There's also a little section about gender inequality, saying that Max has developed a strategy to ensure women are not discriminated against in the workplace. So it talks about sexual harassment, paid maternity leave that's available for all their staff members, what happens if someone is on a fixed term contract when they get pregnant. There's a section on animal welfare that says we are committed to ensuring no animals suffer in the production of our garments. They do use some animal products in the items like wool, including merino, yak, mohair, cashmere, leather. It does say they only use leather that is a byproduct from other industries. They do not use angora, animal fur, bird feathers or down. In 2017 they changed the way they ship their garments to reduce plastic usage in the supply chain. They no longer individually bag each item, which is great, and I can account that in store I never get given a plastic bag anymore. New Zealand has changed our laws, I think it was last year, to say that stores can't give you plastic bags anymore, but I think even before the laws were changed, when I shopped at Max, they were already giving me a paper bag. So they're not doing it just because the laws say they have to. They've developed an action plan to reduce carbon usage, and they have a program in place to become carbon neutral by 2023. And then any items that don't get sold, they actually donate either to Dress for Success or Women's Refuge. Dress for Success I've heard of before. It's a charity that dresses women specifically for job interviews if they don't, or if they can't afford to buy a proper outfit for a job interview. So at least they can then get into the job and start making money. Anyway, enough about all that. Let's move on to the actual pieces that I own from Max. And as we go through these, obviously, like I said, I am going to talk about how much they cost. I won't go on about the quality of each item because I'll just tell you now the quality of items from Max is great. But we will talk a little bit about the materials. So we're going to start with the items that I bought the most recently. So these first two are items that I picked up in my Come Shopping With Me video a few weeks ago, so you may have seen them a couple of times already. Firstly, this floral midi dress. This is made from 100% viscose, which I recently learned is actually wood pulp. It feels really soft. It's actually a really beautiful feeling material. So it does have full length sleeves. It doesn't come in at the waist, so it's a nice and loose floaty dress. And it has these beautiful buttons down the middle as well that almost look like they're made from shell. And then the cute little ruffly frill around the neckline, which is also around the wrists as well. I'll put up on the screen how much this cost because I actually can't remember. But considering it's winter and this is a really lightweight dress, I have worn it so many times. I think I've worn this 9 times, which averages out to more than once a week since I've had it. The other item that I picked up just a few weeks ago is this black jumper. So this is a wool and recycled cashmere material. 70% wool, 30% recycled cashmere. So they are using beautiful natural materials, but also recycling where they can. This is another one that is beautifully soft. There's nothing to worry about with the recycled part of the cashmere. It's still beautiful material. And because it's such a classic, simple design, this is something that anyone would get a lot of wear out of. Especially in the black color, it's going to go with everything. Okay, moving on to the pieces that I bought last year. So the first two are both 100% cashmere. So this first one is a grey high neck jumper in a very thin material. 100% cashmere means that it is super soft. Not that that takes anything away from the one that's 70% wool, because that one is very soft as well. But I know a lot of people really like the feeling of just pure cashmere. They don't actually do these 100% cashmere jumpers anymore. They've moved to the 70% wool, 30% recycled cashmere like the previous jumper that I showed you. So this is one from last year's range that obviously I still love and I'm still going to wear it a lot. This was $200, which for a 100% cashmere jumper is actually a pretty reasonable price. Next up, another 100% cashmere jumper also from last year. So this one is in more of a beigey oatmeal color and it has a roll neck. And this one's a little bit thicker than the other one as well, so this one has a little bit more warmth to it. This one was $250, so an extra $50 compared to the previous one, but again I was happy to pay that extra money because this one is a little bit thicker. It's got, you know, a bit more to the neckline, so it's going to keep you a little bit warmer. This one has been a super versatile piece in my wardrobe. I wore it on repeat all last winter, and again this winter I'm reaching for it all the time. Something I do want to note actually is that both of these 100% cashmere jumpers I've had to have fixed up. Both of these got a little hole in them last year, I assume from my cat and her claws when I cuddled her. So I have at one point or another had to take both of these in to have a little hole stitched up, and I haven't had to do that for any of my other jumpers. I assume it's just because the cashmere material is so delicate, so I don't think it's anything negative to Max. I don't think it's because the garments aren't well made, because I really think the garments are very well made. I just think that cashmere is a very delicate material that you've got to be very careful of. And finally, the most expensive item, this is also one from last winter that I picked up. This is my wool and cashmere blend coat. 10% cashmere, 90% wool. Obviously the lining is not. The lining is polyester and viscose, but the outer material is those beautiful natural fibers. It's in this really neutral tan color. It does have a little tie belt that goes with it. It's quite long actually. It comes down to below my knees. This was $350, so definitely the most expensive item that's on the rack right now. However, I figured for an outerwear piece, for something really elegant and timeless that's also going to help keep you super nice and warm in winter, I wanted to make a bit of an investment because I hate being cold in winter. I don't wear this day in, day out in New Zealand because I am a teacher and I don't want anything to stain it while I'm at work, but it is a go-to for more dressed up occasions, like if I'm going out for dinner. And it's also the one and only coat that I took to Japan with me. So we went to Japan for 3 weeks. It was winter while we were there, and this is the only coat that I took with me, so I just wore it every day. And I loved it. And there we have it. Those are the 5 items that I own from Max. I know it's not a huge amount of items, but considering the price point, these are things that I kind of think about a lot more and have chosen to invest in. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you again next time. Bye!